we had an open meeting.
So that's two separate.
I think so. Okay.
All right. So right now, we would have to withdraw your motion or modify it.
Modify to postpone to
Motion,
certain
yeah,
April
post-
meeting.
Postpone to April 28th
2021
at what time?
at 12 p.m. 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Do people have a preference on
Some probably be after church, so.
2 p.m.
2 p.m.? 2 p.m.
Motion to postpone to April 28th at 2 p.m. the proposed 2024 ad valorem tax levy and authorize the city clerk to certify the villages to be spread by the assessor against the taxable valuation of all real and personal property. Personal subject to taxation of the city of Taylor to be collected by the treasurer. That motion by Councilwoman Witten. Councilman Johnson, do you still support?
Yes.
Supported by Councilman Johnson. Is there any further discussion?
And we can have Pastor Phil come and conduct church that day.
I think it might be busy. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Yes, it's half, the motion carried. Item 7.14 is a motion to receive and file a memorandum from the Director of Budget and Finance regarding the Headley and Truth in Taxation calculations. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Or
Motion by Councilwoman Witten, supported by Councilwoman Brandana.
Through Chair, and this might be the Councilwoman's question is, this item does not have to be postponed, so receive a file. And again, this is because of the public hearing today. Part of the public hearing and part of the approval of the millage rate at the next public hearing is, is to approve the millage rates that are presented. And an element of those millage rates is the, what they call the truth in taxation. So if you read my memo and you go to the second page, I kind of go over, what that is that the city is allowed to levy at the Headley maximum, which is usually a little bit more than what they call the base tax rate. The base tax rate does the calculation, but it does not include inflation. The inflation factor was 5.1%. The Headley maximum rate that we already calculated at the rollbacks already includes that 5.1 inflation rate. So on the second page of the backup, it kind of goes over, what the effects are between the base tax rate and then the Headley maximum rate. This is, again, normal for every municipality is that we improve the millage rates. We're asking to take advantage of the inflation factor with the Headley maximum and levy at that rate. If we didn't do it, what that means is, I show on that calculation, is that it would cost about $700,000 to the general fund if we didn't levy at the Headley maximum. So as part of the budget procedures and with the state law, this memo is to discuss those factors are included in our millage rates as presented for approval that were approved at the 28th meeting. So again, just a memo going over all those calculations that I got from the assessor. Again, it's a receiving file, so you can take action on it today. I don't see an issue with it. And again, it can be discussed during the public hearing today. We discussed the public hearing at the next meeting. So I'd be happy to try to entertain any questions with this calculation.
Any further questions?
Sure.
Okay.
So, why is it a receive and file?
Because it just has to be discussed. We're already have the approval at the next meeting for the millage rates that are at the Headley maximum that we could do. So that's the approval of the millage rates. This is just a memo so that we're discussing it now, because part of the state procedures is that the public hearing, before the public hearing, we discuss the effects of the Headley base tax rate and the Headley maximum. So they call that truth in taxation. So again, since our public hearing notice stated that the truth in taxation is part of this meeting, that's why we always do a receive and file with The actual item will be at the approval of the millage rates.
Any further questions? Council?
So this is just like a public notice? We're just receiving your public notice of this?
Any further questions? Hearing none, we have a motion by Councilman Witten, supported by Councilwoman Brandana. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. The yeses have it, motion carried. Item 7.15 is motion to approve the 1% property tax administration fee to be included on the 2024 property tax bills.
Motion.
Support. Motion by Councilman Witten, supported by Councilman Johnson. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, and unless corporate counsel has any objection against this, I think that this is an approval that can be done at this meeting. It's really just approving the authority to spread out the 1% administrative fee that we've been charging probably since the city was established, but it's just the authority to charge that 1% administrative fee.
Any questions?
Chairman?
Councilman?
So this is, so this is like a tax increase generally, right?
Well, it's not, it's a 1% administrative fee that's added to the taxes to help defray the cost of assessing, treasurer, and other departments who help with the tax collections. So,
Through the chair, this is not an additional 1%, it's just the same 1% every year. So those 1% ain't adding up.
And it's 1% on the total tax bill,
that
not
is
1% on value or.
correct. It's not a millage, it's a 1% on the tax liability. So it's not a millage rate per se, you're correct.
Any further questions?
Chairman?
Councilman?
Do we know, did the council ever turn this down? That I don't think. that they
Through the
ever-
chair, to my knowledge, I'm not aware.
Because the taxes, I mean, the values have gone up, so we're getting more taxes coming in, right? So, do you know how, so, I just hate raising taxes. I mean, everybody's in such a crunch, everything costs so much money, even, and it seems like we're getting more, with the property values going up. So it seems somewhere along the way,
Through the chair,
citizens should get a break.
we're not raising taxes, first of all, but second of all, interest for everything's going up, and interest rates and everything are going well, are up, but employee costs and employee health care and all that other stuff, this helps us cover the cost of, like Jason said, the treasurer department assessing anything that has to do with taxes and stuff, so, I think it's a great use of taxpayer funds, to be honest with you.
Councilman
I
Witten?
guess I would go back to I think you were here in the 2008, not the last time, but 2008, and what the budget was at that time, and that we're still providing those same services with significantly less money. And if this doesn't go through, what's getting cut to the tune of 900,000, because that money will have to get cut somewhere. So the services somewhere will have to be cut, in the amount of 900,000.
Through the chair, as you remember, when we go through the audit process, we still haven't even reached where we were at that time, so we're still climbing to get where we were at the time of the recession.
Councilman Johnson?
Jason, do you recall what our millage rate was when you came in?
Through the chair,
I believe it was 27 point something?
27 sounds about right. I can tell you there was a couple millage rates, like the EPA judgment levy millage, right? That was a levy that we had back then that expired 3 or 4 years ago now. At that time, we also had what we call the 96 voter levy, which was related to the debt that we were paying for the southwest area of the city. So we had a couple millage rates, but since then, yes, millage rates have decreased, but we had a couple like the school debt millage. I believe the county had a couple millage rates that appeared. The community college had an enhancement millage. So villages go back and forth, but for city operating, yes, we had a couple extra villages at that time, so our village rate should be lower now than it was. I just don't have the exact number.
So my point is that it was higher, our operating millage was higher, it's lower now, our values are up higher. I mean, 10 years ago, when our house was valued at 200,000, I would imagine it's 300 now. So that's going to raise your taxes. think we're doing good. It seems like it.
Chairman.
Councilwoman Wood?
Just one other point, I agree, I mean, I know everyone's crunched for dollars, but I did hear, I think there is a reduction, not in this, but in the prior agenda item, you said they're small
2.4%.
reductions on that, and so there is a, potentially, right, depending on if it's about our health, if the cap comes up, I mean, every situation is different, but I do think when there's opportunities to do those savings, if the city has done those in the past.
Councilwoman, I think
I'm
it's
on.
six budgets that I've gone through, Councilwoman, you've been consistent on this question. And I believe what the, simply is a cost of printing, preparing, and distributing is what has been discussed in terms of the necessity. It's really the administration of setting out the tax bills through the treasurer's office, paying for the new mailing system, small things like that. Any further discussion on 7.15? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Boynton?
Yes.
Mrs. Brandano? Yes. Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?